This is a story about the day Mark Gonzales broke his arm on a Shopify project and what Mark taught me about showing up for the people who are counting on you. Back in 2022, I was part of a startup team at Shopify called the Creator Program. Our goal? Partner with athletes, celebrities, musicians, and the world's leading entrepreneurs to swing from the rooftops and do the most creative project Shopify had ever seen. By some beautiful twist of fate, I ended up leading a project with one of my biggest role models and the most influential skateboarder of all time, Mark Gonzales. It all started when I hopped on a call with Mark's agent, Mr. Ryan Clements. If you're not familiar with Ryan, he is the most genuine, kind, and caring dude in the industry who genuinely wants the best for everybody involved. On that call, we started brainstorming possibilities for a partnership between Mark and Shopify. We wanted to come up with something that would solve my mandate of tying an e-commerce element into the project while still coming up with something that would resonate with skateboarders and feel authentic to Mark. At the time, Shopify was building out new technology to compete with eBay. Basically the ability for brands and creators on the platform to host online auctions. With that in the back of my mind, I started to think about Mark's eclectic 30+ year skate career and all the meaningful things he's done, touched, and seen. The first thing that came to me was Mark's 1991 Blind Video Days part. If you're unfamiliar, this is widely known as one of the most influential skateboard videos and skateboard parts of all time. It was also filmed, produced, and directed by Oscar-winning director Spike Jonze. It's also the video that solidified Mark's spot as one of the pioneers of street skateboarding, as well as the video that kickstarted Spike's career to ultimately becoming the Oscar-winning director he is today. So I asked Ryan, is there any chance Mark would have a board he skated in his Blind Video Days part still intact 30 years later? I knew this was a huge long shot, but about a week later, Ryan gave me a call and he said that Mark went to his storage locker and he found a board he skated in his Video Days part. Now, given how meaningful Blind Video Days was not only on Gon's, but also on Spike's career, I started to wonder if there was any way we could potentially bring Spike Jonze into this project as well. Mark gives Spike a call and he agrees to be a part of this project. This is a huge testament to the nature of their friendship and how much of respect, admiration, and love Spike and essentially the whole world has for Mark. I was in shock. Spike has been probably the most influential filmmaker of my life, and again, one of my biggest role models. And now I had him involved in this project, which wasn't even fully defined yet. Now we have a board that Mark rode in his Blind Video Days part, as well as Spike Jonze agreeing to be a part of this project. So I started to think about other things I've seen of Mark throughout my life that left the biggest impression on me. And the next one that jumps out is the footage of Mark in 1998 in Germany, skating through an art exhibit wearing a fencing suit. Really hard to articulate or put into words, but he's basically doing performance art, skating around the space, surrounded by multi-million-dollar pieces of art in the most jazz-esque, spontaneous Mark fashion you've ever seen. So I asked if there's any chance he could still get his hands on that fencing suit. Mark said they don't have the original, but they did make a replica for an Adidas activation he did years later, and he could get his hands on that. Now here's the really crazy part. Mark actually took that footage of him skating in that fencing suit and he handed it to Hollywood actor Jason Schwartzman. Not only is Jason an incredibly talented actor, but he is a man of many creative feats, including music. You probably heard of this band and maybe never put two and two together and realized this was Jason Schwartzman behind the project, but he actually has a music project called Coconut Records. And so Jason took that footage of Mark skating in the fencing suit and he actually decided to use it as the official music video for his song, West Coast. So we asked Mark, any chance Jason would want to be involved in this project too? He ends up giving Jason a call, and Jason's down. I'm really just losing my mind at this point. I have three of the biggest role models of my entire life agreeing to being a part of this project that I have the privilege to lead and produce. Next, I get connected with Daniel Yaro, a producer and co-founder at North Now Studios. Daniel and I hop on a call and we start brainstorming creative ideas for a video piece to accompany the online auction. The idea? Mark dives deep into the inner workings of his own mind in search of these artifacts from his past, and he's met by old-time friends Spike Jonze and Jason Schwartzman along the way. After months of work, I have budget approvals from Shopify, we have a video concept and a video treatment, I have Spike, Jason Schwartzman, and Mark Gonzales all committed to being a part of this project, and we built an insane set in Los Angeles. It's finally time to go shoot. So it's the day of the shoot, and Mark arrives at about 7 in the morning. Within the first 30 minutes, he sees a quarter pipe that we have lined up against a wall, and he starts doing backside foot plants on the wall and coming back into the quarter. He gets one within 3 tries, so we decide to film one. He lands probably 3 or 4 of them, but he doesn't like any of them, so we go for another. On the 5th try, he goes for the backside foot plant on the wall, comes back into the corridor, and he slips out and falls. He jumps up, he yells that his arm is broken, and he just beelines to the hospital. Daniel and I just look at each other completely stunned. Everyone on set is looking to us for direction on what to do next. We have no idea what happened, if Mark did break his arm, if he's going to be okay, and how the hell we're going to pull this project off. A couple of hours later, Ryan gets a call from Mark. He says he did break his arm, but he's already on his way back to the set to finish the project. So Mark comes back to set in a hospital gown with a cast on his arm, laughing, and he jumps on his skateboard and just starts cruising around the set as if nothing happened. I was speechless. This guy I've admired for a large majority of my life just broke his arm, and he showed up for all of us, didn't complain once, and had nothing but pure heart. Shortly after, Spike shows up. We have an awesome conversation outside, and I can say with certainty, Spike is one of the most humble, genuine, authentic, kind people I've ever met. Next, we film the segment between Mark and Spike, where they walk down memory lane, and he shares the story of how Mark took the copy of Blind Video Days and handed it to the lead singer of Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon, and she was so impressed that she actually called Spike and asked if he could film their next music video. So he filmed Sonic Youth's music video, which eventually led to filming Beastie Boys' music videos, which led to the next big group, and ultimately snowballed his entire career to becoming the Oscar-winning director he is today. From there, we filmed a segment between Mark and Jason, where they have a conversation about how well that footage of Mark skating in the fencing suit fit as the official music video for West Coast. At the end, we give a nice little nod to director Harmony Korine, as Mark ends up finding the prop chair that he beats up and wrestles in Harmony's movie Gummo.
What are you talking about? The chair doesn't even exist anymore.
We couldn't help ourselves. The Harmony nod was too good to pass up. The whole thing ends with Mark coming out of his storage locker, coffin style, holding his Blind Video Days board, and we announced that the auction is going live, with all the proceeds being donated to Nestor Judkin's charity, Salad Days of Skateboarding. It was a project and a once-in-a-lifetime experience I will never forget. And for anybody who saw Mark on Tony Hawk's podcast last year, telling the story of how he broke his arm on a Spotify commercial, he actually meant Shopify, and this was the one.
Hi, this is Mark Gonzales saying thank you to Shopify. This has been so much fun.
Greg.
And sometimes you gotta pay the piper, and I broke my arm, but it was totally worth it.